What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Blind Power, and today I want to talk about at what point should you start reading Braille or start practicing for Braille. There's two main barriers in that situation because start to read Braille and start using it is a whole nother level. There's two different levels in this video. So let's do this. So when you should start using Braille is when you realize you can't, you're so slow at reading large print and you realize that you have pretend like my hand is the paper and you're like this, barely touching your eye, and you're like, okay, I have a problem. The paper's almost touching my pupil. Something's wrong here. That's when you should start using Braille because of the fact that you'll be a lot faster at reading Braille. Now, when should you start practicing Braille? I think right now, as we speak. Learn Braille. If you see that you're already visually impaired and you're hitting that 2200 border and you feel that if your vision progresses or you're scared that it progresses, learn Braille. Braille's a pretty neat thing. It's got some pretty cool uses. If you're visually impaired, you can read tactile graphics from it. I'm glad I learned it because you can read tactile graphics if you're in a math class and you need to read graphs that you can't see. You can get yourself a tactile graphics Braille display, which will be announced at the conference this year, and I'll be covering the conference in June. I think was it July? Yeah, July. I'll be covering the conference, so I'll give you guys a little review of that thing when we get there. There's several of them coming out this year, these tactile graphics Braille displays. They're pretty cool. And honestly, not everybody has the vision stable. I'm one of the lucky people, but still, maybe I still learn it because I feel like if I, when I'm 65 and Braille's still around and I'm like, oh, I need to read and I can't see, and then I learn Braille. I just do Braille. So if you start learning now and you realize that your vision is getting worse, if it is getting worse, and you start learning Braille, and then slowly you start easing into Braille. You start depending on Braille more and more and more until you realize that you're fully leaning on Braille. At that point, Braille displays are very awesome because everything on your phone, you can turn it into Braille, or on your computer. And at that point, you'll do things a lot faster than having to use a magnification on your computer to read what's on your screen. You just use Braille, and you put the Braille display, and you just read everything. So easing into Braille may be hard at the beginning, but once you feel that you're losing vision, and as soon as you feel like you're losing vision, learn Braille. That way, if your vision is progressive and it starts going down, then as it starts going down, you start getting better in Braille, and you start depending less and less and less on large print, so that you ease yourself over. Honestly, that's the best idea I can give you. Just start doing that. That way you're like, oh, I'm glad I learned Braille, and hopefully it won't happen because, we all like to have some bit of vision, but if not, then it's not the end of the world. You just use Braille, depend on Braille, and then you just have to adjust to it, and that's all I can say about that. You just gotta adjust to it and learn the fact that you have to depend on it. And Braille is fascinating, and then the hardest part though is math. So when you start easing into it, if you're in college or high school and you're easing into it, you want to make sure you get Nimith in there in grade 2. If you're just graduated already and you're just an adult, losing vision, learning Braille, grade 1 should be fine for your basic needs for jobs and stuff. Basic grade 2 could come in handy because then the contractions, like the TH contraction and some other ones I can't remember. But then you start easing into it, and then you start using, if you're in college, in the Nimith, and then you can essentially do all your work on a Braille display in Nimith, and you can print it out for your math teacher, and you can be like, here you go, here's my paper, and they're gonna be like, how'd you do that? And then because usually the Braille display should format the stuff for you depending on your software, should format it for you, so the professor sees it and they're gonna like it. They're gonna be like, okay, this makes sense. No matter what age, it's never too late to learn Braille. Just start easing into it when you realize you start losing vision, or even if you're already visually impaired, just learn it now. Start doing it. Even if you just put a cheat sheet, which I'll pop one here again. I popped one in a previous video. But there you go, a little cheat sheet. You can screenshot it or just search in Google Braille cheat sheets. There's tons of them. I know the library services has one for the blind. And it comes in handy. You can teach yourself Braille that way, and Braille can be fun. It doesn't have to be boring. As a kid, I remember I was forced at first to learn Braille, and I'm glad that they taught me, because now it's like, it's pretty cool. All the things are available with Braille. So I recommend you guys to learn Braille. 10 out of 10 for sure. And ease yourself into it. You don't have to go dive in, but you just ease yourself little by little. And not to mention, the less you strain your vision, for the most part, the slower your vision deteriorates. So that's pretty cool. Once you hit 40, which is the age usually where people's visions are bad, yours won't be as bad. Especially vision impaired, and you take care of your vision, you'll be like, oh, okay, that happened because of Braille. Thank you, Braille. And then you start thanking Braille. You're like, oh, cool, Braille saved my vision. And then, there's a lot of stories of like how Braille changes people's lives and stuff. And I mean, I like to have it as a backup resource, which is why I learned it, and it's why I highly recommend you guys to learn it too. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video just as I enjoyed making it. Comment, rate, subscribe, you know what to do. I hope you guys get motivated to learn Braille, because Braille can be fun, and